On the night of August 15th, 1977, a radio telescope in Ohio caught something extraordinary. For 72 seconds, a narrow-band radio signal burst from deep space. It was strong, clear, and exactly the kind of signal scientists had imagined might come from intelligent life. When astronomer Jerry Amon saw the data printed on the computer paper the next morning, he was so astonished that he circled it in red ink and scribbled one word in the margin. Wow. That single word gave the mystery its name. The wow signal. And almost half a century later, no one knows what it really was. To understand why this moment still fascinates scientists, we have to go back to what they were looking for. By the mid-1970s, a program called SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, was running at the Ohio State University's Big Ear Radio Telescope. The telescope scanned the skies, listening for unusual radio signals. The idea was simple. If intelligent civilizations exist, they might try to communicate using radio, a method powerful enough to cross interstellar distances. Most nights produce nothing but background static, the ordinary hiss of the universe. But then came August 15th. That evening, the telescope was tuned to a frequency of 1,420 megahertz, the natural emission line of hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe. Astronomers had long thought that if aliens wanted to be noticed, they might send signals at this frequency, a kind of cosmic hailing channel. For over a minute, the telescope recorded a powerful spike exactly at 1420 megahertz. The numbers on the printout rose higher and higher, forming a perfect bell curve, peaking and then fading, just as a real signal drifting across the sky would. It looked intentional. When Amon found the data, he immediately knew it was unusual. He circled the code 6EQUJ5 and wrote wow beside it. The signal was never heard again. Despite countless hours of searching, no telescope has ever picked it up a second time. That absence only deepened the mystery. Scientists immediately began asking, what could it have been? One possibility was a natural cosmic source. But most natural sources produce broad band signals, spread across many frequencies, not a sharp, narrow band spike like the wow signal. Others wondered if it could have come from Earth, perhaps a military transmission or satellite bouncing back. But the telescope's design made that unlikely. It listened with two beams, separated by a small gap. A local signal would appear in both beams. The wow signal appeared in only one. Even stranger, the signal came from a direction in the constellation Sagittarius, near the center of the Milky Way. But when astronomers looked there with other telescopes, they found nothing unusual. No repeating signal, no obvious star system, no sign of what had produced the transmission. The wow signal seemed to fit exactly the profile of what scientists were hoping for. A strong, narrow band burst at the hydrogen line, from space, lasting just long enough to be real and never repeating. Too perfect to ignore, too mysterious to explain. Over the years, the wow signal became legendary. For UFO enthusiasts, it was proof that we are not alone. For scientists, it was a tantalizing hint, but one that could never be confirmed. In science, repeatability is everything, and the wow signal happened only once. That makes it impossible to prove its origin. Was it truly a message from another civilization? Or was it some rare cosmic event we still don't understand? Whatever it was, that single scribbled word, wow, still echoes through the decades. It stands as a reminder that sometimes the universe whispers and then goes silent, leaving us with only questions. In the years following 1977, astronomers searched desperately for answers. The WOW signal was unlike anything they had seen before. But in science, one data point is never enough. They needed to find it again. Night after night, telescopes scanned the same patch of sky in Sagittarius. Hours turned into years. Nothing. The silence was deafening. It was as if the universe had spoken once, then closed its mouth forever. Theories began to multiply. Some suggested the signal might have been caused by a natural cosmic source, like a pulsar or a quasar. But these objects produce broad, noisy signals across many frequencies. The WOW signal was razor sharp and narrow band, exactly the kind of thing natural phenomena do not produce. Others wondered about interstellar hydrogen clouds emitting at 1420 megahertz. But again, the shape of the signal didn't match. It looked artificial. Another idea was that it might have been a transmission from Earth, accidentally picked up by the telescope. But the Big Ear telescope used two separate beams, and both pointed at slightly different spots in the sky. A local signal would have registered in both. The WOW signal appeared in only one beam. That suggested the source really was out there, far beyond Earth. Still, skeptics pushed for other explanations. Could it have been a reflection from a satellite? At the time, the skies were not crowded like today, and most satellites did not broadcast at 1420 megahertz. In fact, that frequency is protected by international agreement. No one is allowed to transmit at the hydrogen line. It's like a quiet channel of the cosmos, deliberately kept clear for astronomy. For the WOW signal to have been human-made, someone would have had to break the rules and transmit illegally with enormous power, exactly at the right time and place. Possible? Yes. Likely? Not at all. Decades later, new explanations surfaced. In 2017, one team proposed that the signal might have come from comets passing through the area. Comets release hydrogen gas as they approach the sun, and hydrogen emits at 1420 megahertz. Perhaps one of these comets lined up just right with the telescope. It sounded promising, until other astronomers pointed out that comet signals are weak and spread out. Nothing like the intense, narrow-band WOW signal. The theory quickly lost favor. Another possibility was interstellar scintillation, a kind of twinkling effect as radio waves pass through interstellar gas. Maybe the WOW signal was a normal source, temporarily boosted by cosmic lensing. But again, the profile of the signal didn't fit. And if it were a normal source, we should have found it again. The mystery only deepened when astronomers mapped the exact coordinates. The signal seemed to come from near the constellation Sagittarius, close to the dense heart of the Milky Way. This region contains billions of stars, but no obvious candidate stood out. No repeating signal, no known star system sending out pulses, nothing. The source remained invisible. Over time, the WOW signal gained a legendary status in SETI circles. It was the perfect mix of tantalizing and frustrating. Powerful, clean, exactly where it should be and never seen again. Scientists continued to point their telescopes at the sky, listening, hoping for another whisper. But the universe remained silent. Theories outside mainstream science flourished as well. Some enthusiasts believed the WOW signal was a deliberate message, a one-time beacon from an intelligent civilization, perhaps warning us, perhaps greeting us, perhaps testing whether we were listening. But if it was a message, why only once? Why not repeat it, confirm it, leave no doubt? Was it by accident or was it intentional? Like a cosmic knock on the door, never followed up. Each explanation seemed to collapse under scrutiny. Too natural, too weak, too unlikely, too incomplete. And so the wow signal lived on, not as an answer, but as a question. A signal too strange to explain, too singular to dismiss.
By the 1980s, the wow signal had become more than just a curious anomaly in the data. It was a cultural icon. Newspapers reported on it. Magazines speculated about aliens. And the image of Jerry Amon's red pen circling 6EQUJ5 became famous. For the public, it was the closest thing to proof that we were not alone. For scientists, it was both inspiring and frustrating. A reminder of what might be out there, and of how little we had to go on. The SETI community embraced the wow signal as a rallying point. It showed that listening to the stars could pay off, even if only once. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, projects like the Allen Telescope Array and SETI at home were launched, harnessing new technologies and even home computers to scan the skies. Millions of people volunteered their computing power, hoping to help catch the next wow signal. But the silence continued. Culturally, the signal tapped into a timeless fascination. The late 20th century was a golden era for space exploration and science fiction. Movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Contact asked the same question the wow signal seemed to pose. What if we are not alone? The mystery of a one-time, unexplained transmission from the stars captured imaginations in a way few scientific events ever had. Meanwhile, astronomers refined their search. The same patch of sky in Sagittarius was scanned again and again. More sensitive telescopes looked deeper, listening for even the faintest whisper. Some efforts shifted toward nearby star systems, reasoning that if the wow signal was real, it might have come from an Earth-like planet orbiting a distant sun. Yet no follow-up signal was ever found. In 2012, on the 35th anniversary of the wow signal, the Arecibo Observatory sent a response into space. It was not an official scientific project, but a cultural one. Messages crowdsourced from the internet beamed toward the coordinates of the original signal. It was a gesture more than an experiment, a way of saying, if someone out there spoke once, we are still listening. Whether anyone or anything will ever hear it remains unknown. In 2017, astronomers tried once more to explain the mystery, suggesting that comets passing through the region could have created it. For a time, headlines declared the puzzle solved, but deeper analysis quickly undermined the claim. The hydrogen emissions of comets simply did not match the intensity or shape of the wow signal. The mystery endured. Even today, with vast radio arrays scanning the heavens, the wow signal remains unique. No other event has matched its clarity and strangeness. Some scientists think that if it was artificial, it may have been a kind of cosmic ping. A signal sent not as a conversation, but as a test. A civilization broadcasting once, just to see if anyone notices. If so, then the wow signal may not have been meant for us at all, but we happened to catch it in passing. Others argue that perhaps we should not expect a second signal. Maybe alien communication is rare, cautious, or fundamentally different from how we imagine. Maybe what we heard was not a deliberate message at all, but the leakage of technology, like the radio and television broadcasts we have been spilling into space for a century. If someone out there pointed a telescope at Earth, they might catch a brief, inexplicable signal too. The wow signal thus became more than data. It became a symbol of the dream of contact, of the hope that we are not alone, and of the frustration of chasing whispers in an indifferent cosmos. scientists still hold out hope that one day a new signal will appear, stronger, clearer, undeniable. Until then, the WOW signal stands as both an achievement and a reminder of how fragile evidence can be when the universe speaks only once. The WOW signal has now been a mystery for nearly half a century. In all that time, despite advances in radio astronomy, despite entire arrays of telescopes scanning the skies, nothing like it has ever been detected again. It remains a singular event, suspended in history, a lone whisper from the cosmos. For many scientists, this is the most frustrating part. A single signal can never be proof. Without repetition, without confirmation, the WOW signal sits forever on the edge of credibility. It could have been an error, a freak event, or something we simply do not yet understand. And yet, it was too perfect to dismiss. Strong, narrow, on the hydrogen line, lasting exactly as long as it should if something in space was drifting past the telescope. It looked like what SETI was designed to find, and then it was gone. This raises the deeper question: if the WOW signal really was artificial, what does that say about the universe? Perhaps it was a beacon from a distant civilization, pulsing once into the void. Perhaps it was a fragment of communication, never meant for us, accidentally caught as it passed by. Or perhaps it was a deliberate test, a single note played to see if anyone was listening. The possibility forces us to confront our place in the cosmos. For all of human history, we have looked up at the stars and wondered, are we alone? The WOW signal is the closest science has ever come to an answer. But instead of clarity, it gave us only silence. That silence can be haunting. If intelligent life exists, why has it not revealed itself again? This is the essence of the Fermi paradox. With billions of stars and planets, the universe should be full of life. So where is everyone? Some suggest civilizations rise and fall quickly, their signals brief candles in the cosmic dark. Others suggest they choose not to reveal themselves, or that their communication is so alien we would never recognize it. And then there's the sobering thought: maybe we really are alone. Maybe the WOW signal was not a message, but a cosmic coincidence, and the universe will never speak again. Yet silence itself is a kind of mystery, because in that silence, we project our hopes, our fears, our dreams of connection. The WOW signal reminds us that science is not only about answers. It is also about questions, about standing on the edge of the unknown and listening. Even if the universe never repeats that call, the act of searching shapes who we are. It pushes us outward. It fuels our imagination. It reminds us that the cosmos is vast and strange, far beyond our current understanding. The WOW signal endures not because it proved aliens exist, but because it embodies the human longing to know. It is a symbol of our curiosity, our refusal to stop asking the oldest question of all. Was it a message? A mistake? Or something stranger still? We may never know. And so, late at night, when radio telescopes sweep the sky, when computers sift through endless static, there's always the chance that the silence will break again. Another spike, another anomaly, another word scrawled in the margin. Wow. Until then, we wait. We listen. And we wonder what, if anything, whispered to us from the stars in the summer of 1977.